Here are 62 amazing facts about 62 territories. There are 20,000 islands in the Åland Islands, meaning the ratio of islands to people is around 1 to 1.5. American Samoa is the only inhabited U.S. territory that does not give its nationals automatic U.S. citizenship. Anguilla is named after the French word for eel and used to be called Snake Island due to its long and narrow shape. Antarctica has a massive underground lake called Lake Vostok, which, having been drilled into, was shown to have thousands of new life forms thought isolated from millions of years. Aruba has an annual festival called Burying the Rooster, in which a today fake rooster is buried in the ground up to its head, and then blindfolded participants would take turns trying to decapitate it. In 2005, the Royal Mail admitted that Ascension Island had not received any post for the past 3 months, since all the letters had gone to the capital of Paraguay, Asunción. Bermuda has the most golf courses of any country or territory in the world per capita, with 9 golf courses in an area of 21 square miles. There have been over 210 species of bird recorded on the tiny island of Bonaire. Over 2/3 of them, however, are not native to the island. Bouvet Island is the setting of the movie, Alien vs. Predator. The British Indian Ocean Territory was used as a main launch pad for bombings during the Gulf War and the invasions of Iraq and Afghanistan. Even though the British Virgin Islands are a territory of the UK, they use the US dollar as their official currency. The Cayman Islands is home to the world-famous 7 Mile Beach, which is actually around 5 miles long. It is also illegal by law to sunbathe topless there. Christmas Island is home to a species of crab numbering in the tens of millions, that is famous for mass migrating to the sea every year to lay eggs. Clipperton Island, now uninhabited, used to have a Mexican colony, but all of the men except one died, mostly of starvation. The last man started a spree of rape and murder before being killed, and the rest of the people were evacuated. The Cocos Islands were the study case for one of Charles Darwin's first books, The Structure and Distribution of Coral Reefs. The Cook Islands are the world's second largest producers of black pearls. Until 1934, anyone who wanted to cross the Ama Bridge in Curacao had to pay 2 cents toll, unless they crossed without shoes, in which case they didn't have to pay. Deklia and Akrotiri are British military bases that take up sizable chunks of Cyprus. The British simply stayed there after Cyprus became independent, and treat the area somewhat like a colony. The Falkland Islands only have around 3,000 people, but altogether contain 500,000 sheep. The Faroe Islands, a territory of Denmark, are originally thought to be settled by Irish hermit monks before the Vikings landed and took over. The official spaceport in France is in French Guiana, since the territory is very sparsely populated and the proximity to the equator makes launching easier. In French Polynesia it is accustomed to wear tiara flowers behind your ears, with behind your left ear meaning you are taken and behind your right meaning you are single. The Kerguelen Islands in the French southern Antarctic lands, despite having no permanent inhabitants, have their own commemorative banknotes, each of them featuring a cat on them. Gibraltar is home to Europe's only native monkey population. However, you get fined £4,000 if you feed them. Greenland is the host of the annual World Championship in ice golf, which is played on fields of ice and snow. The golf greens are known as whites. Christopher Columbus is credited with discovering the pineapple for the first time on the island of Guadeloupe. Guam, surprisingly, does not have any natural sand, and the beaches instead are made out of coral. Coral is also used in roads, where it is mixed with cement. The world's first ever underwater arrest occurred in Guernsey, where a man was illegally harvesting a protected mollusk off the coast and was arrested by a scuba diving police officer. There was a city in Hong Kong called the Kowloon Walled City that was so densely populated it contained 33,000 residents in under 7 acres. Crime and lawlessness were common, and Hong Kong demolished the city in 1994. The Isle of Man has the world's oldest continually meeting parliament, the Tynwald, which was set up by Vikings in 979 AD. There is a law on the books in Jersey that forbids men from knitting during the fishing season of August and September. Macau makes 50% of its annual revenue from gambling and receives more visitors in a year than the population of Australia. The unofficial flag of Martinique has 4 snakes on it in L shapes, which symbolizes that the island was once a part of French-administered St. Lucia. Mayat is a tradition where people, mostly women, purposefully enter trance states and claim to have their bodies inhabited by spirits. The Battle of Midway at the Midway Islands, a decisive American victory, is considered the turning point in World War II in the Pacific. On the same day of the 2002 World Cup final, Montserrat played Bhutan in a match between the two lowest-ranked soccer teams in the world. Montserrat lost 4-0. Navassa Island in the 19th century was a mining place for millions of tons of guano for the United States. However, the workers revolted, killed 5 supervisors, and the resulting aftermath led to a Supreme Court battle. Today the island is uninhabited. Although New Caledonia is a small archipelago, it contains 10% of the world's nickel reserves. Niue once issued official coins with images of 5 different Pokémon on them, which have become highly sought after by. It also has free Wi-Fi service throughout the entire island. Norfolk Island's official language is called Norfolk, which is a mix of Tahitian and 18th century English. The Guinness Book of Records listed the Northern Marianas as having the most equable climate in the world, meaning a lack of temperature change. Palestine was the origin of both Christianity and Judaism, and was named Palestine by the Romans to get rid of the Jewish influence in the former name, Judea. Even though nobody lives on the Palmyra at all, it has a similar legal status to other populated U.S. territories, and if you were somehow born there you are automatically an American citizen, unlike in American Samoa. The Pitcairn Islands, due to a dwindling population, asked foreigners to immigrate to the territory, giving them free land. However, only one person so far has responded. Until 2016, Puerto Rico was home to the world's largest radio telescope, and is also the origin place of the pina colada drink. Reunion Island holds the record for the largest 24-hour rainfall ever, with 72 inches of rain falling on a day in 1966. The island of Saba is home to the shortest runway in the world, which is only around 400 meters in length. St. Eustatius was the location of the first salute, which was when the island fired cannons in a salute to America's independence. It was America's first ever recognition of independence by a foreign entity. St. Maarten has an airport where commercial airliners touch down insanely close to the beach, which is a popular tourist attraction. The South Georgia and South Sandwich Islands contain the grave of famed explorer Sir Ernest Shackleton. Today, the islands have only about 10 people permanently living there. St. Barthélemy is the only Caribbean island that was historically a Swedish colony for a significant period of time. St. Helena is the island where Napoleon was exiled and died, and he was initially buried there until he was moved since it was against his wishes. According to legend, the French side of St. Martin has more land than the Dutch side because of a drunk working contest between a Frenchman and a Dutchman. The Dutchman drank a stronger drink, and so the Frenchman managed to claim more land. The British occupied St. Pierre and Miquelon 5 times during the 18th and 19th centuries, with France having to take it back every time. The last of these occupations was in 1815. Svalbard is the home of the Global Seed Vault, which stores seeds from a vast array of crops to be used in case of global catastrophe wiping out plant life. Tokelau has been officially listed by major news outlets and organizations as having the wrong time zone for over 100 years, the error being discovered in 2011. About half of the people on Tristan da Cunha suffer from asthma, which is thought to be caused by genetics, and has resulted in the nickname Asthma Island. Astronaut John Glenn splashed down from his first mission into the ocean off the coast of the Turks and Caicos Islands. The U.S. Virgin Islands are the only place in the United States where you drive on the left side of the road. There is a rock carving on Wake Island which was carved by an escaped American prisoner of war when the Japanese occupied the island. 98 Americans were executed, and the one who escaped and carved the statistic and message was captured and killed shortly after. Wallis and Futuna has no publications because the country's only newspaper was shut down when the king of one of the provinces found out that it had published a royal scandal in the paper. And finally, Western Sahara, if it were a country, would be the second most sparsely populated country in the world. But Morocco unjustly continues to claim it's a part of them. So, that was that. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed or learned something. Feel free to leave a comment as well. Thanks for watching.